Aaron, what is our third main topic today?
Diego says, there have been rumblings of issues with the production of Echo for a few months now, and it looks like it's getting a delay. The series showrunner on an episode of the writers panel confirmed that Echo is getting delayed an entire year. With a delay that significant, what do you think the issues could be? Could there be some massive rewrites in store? Curious what you think. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Diego. And look, to me, Marvel Phase 4 is a bit of a mixed bag, but man, they crushed some things. Again, we've talked a lot about it. I thought Ms. Marvel was fantastic. I thought WandaVision was incredible. Their special events of Werewolf by Night, and especially the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Now, I think my favorite Christmas holiday special of all time is now that Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, it even supplanted Rudolph and Frosty as my favorite holiday special of all time. I absolutely loved it. And they've had some misses. Most notably for me was Hawkeye. And hey, listen, I know there are people who liked Hawkeye. If you liked Hawkeye, awesome. I'm not trying to, as Chris would say, yuck on your yum. Not at all. But for me, it didn't work. It had some good things going for it, some things that it didn't work out so well. But one of the things that really did not work and could have worked really well was Echo. The character could have been, there was a lot of good groundwork there for her, but I just came, and we've had this discussion on the show before where we came out of this show going, I was more interested in this Echo spinoff show before seeing her in Hawkeye. Now I'm even less interested. They did not do this character any favors in the show at all. They did not make me interested in the character. They did not get me invested in this character at all. And quite frankly, it's like the one thing on the Marvel's release slate that I have negative anticipation for.
Negative.
Like I have below none.
Yeah.
Like with every other Marvel thing coming out, I have at least some degree, some very high, some not so high. But Echo is the one thing that they did not do any favors to. Now, there were some rumblings a while ago that they might have been facing some production issues. And now the showrunner herself has come out and confirmed that this thing's been delayed by at least 6 months because it was supposed to come out mid-2022 or mid-2023, I should say. This is when it was supposed to come out. Now they're saying maybe November, December of that year. Now there's a big interview here which we can see and read, like it's talking about what's gone right, what's gone wrong. And one of the things that the showrunner talks about, and I'll let you guys go over, you can see this is an article on the Direct, where she talks about how things weren't done the same way here on this show as, say, other shows she had worked on, like Better Call Saul, where you had certain time to do certain things and whatever and evolve the story. And she said that just wasn't it here. Here's one of the things that she says. It was kind of a crash course, because I came in as a co-executive producer and then changed to showrunner. And that changed a little bit. And so I didn't start there at the ground level, but really like shifting and changing a process to work with deadlines. Like Better Call Saul very much uses brick by brick process where we essentially break each episode 3 times. You do sort of a general overall break, and then we lay out some arcs, and then we go back and we do it brick by brick. And then basically she just goes on, there just simply was not enough time to do it that way. So it's sort of grabbing things from like the act, which is so basically she goes on to say, look, it just was not as smooth of a transition as I was anticipating for. And despite the fact that we had announced a mid-2023 release date, she's saying now it's probably going to be November, December, maybe longer. It's not the biggest deal in a world for a movie like an MCU movie to get a delay, or any movie, like whether it's a Star Wars movie, a Warner Brothers film, a Paramount film, to get a 6-month delay. It's not the most unusual thing in the world. Where it gets complicated is in the world of the MCU, where a lot of times what happens in one property has a direct impact in what happens in another property, and they are laid out in a certain order. And if you disrupt that order, it can cause problems. Now, I don't know if they were going to really isolate the Echo show so it doesn't really impact anything else. I don't know if it was supposed to be directly leading into the next Marvel property, which now will be kind of jumbled a little bit. So it could be big, it could be minor. I'm going to be honest with you. I could care less if this show even comes out. I really couldn't care less. I mean, yeah, I'm interested obviously in seeing Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, but we're going to see him in Daredevil Born Again anyway. So if they literally Batgirled this thing and pulled the plug, I wouldn't mind. I don't think they are. By the way, just to be clear, I do not think they're going to Batgirl this thing. And who knows? Maybe there's a silver lining here. Maybe having negative anticipation for this, when I do sit down and watch it, and of course I'm going to give it a shot. When I sit down and watch it, I'll go, huh? Because it's happened with me before. I go, huh? That was better than I was expecting. Here's hoping. Rob, you hear about the delays. Big deal, little deal, no deal. What do you think?
Well, I'm kind of with you. I don't think they did enough of the groundwork to establish the Echo character as somebody we even want to see again. I mean, I like her backstory, and I like where they were going with her character. But at the end of the day, she seemed not much more than another henchman. I mean, I understand her ethnic background and her abilities are interesting, and they could do something really fascinating with that if they delve into her history and all of that. But is that, of all the characters that they could bring to a Disney Plus series, is Echo the one we want to see? I mean, like you, I was underwhelmed by Hawkeye in general. I loved Kate Bishop. I loved Haley Steinfeld. I thought she was great in the role. I'd love to see her again. Can't wait to see her come back and lead the Young Avengers. But Echo, she's barely an echo in my memory.
There it is.
Sorry, was that mean?
Rob with the zinger.
I didn't mean to be mean.
But the funny thing is, with the character being a deaf character, missing a limb, like there was so much opportunity to do something really, really interesting with that character, and I just feel like they lost the opportunity.
They didn't write her well.
No, they didn't.
That was the thing. They didn't write her to be an interesting character.
Anyway, Chris, I can't remember how you felt about Hawkeye or this character in general, but what do you think about this news?
I don't know what y'all were watching, because I found the Echo stuff to be the very intriguing stuff in that show.
And I don't think you're alone.
I think they did a wonderful job. They did a textbook version of her comic book character. They showed us those origin stories of people thinking she had a learning disability, from people undermining her and second guessing her. We talked about casting earlier with Sarah Finn. This is genius casting, where she found a perfect Indigenous actress to play this part. I'm hyped about this show. I thought she was one of the best parts of Hawkeye, which for me was pretty lackluster, but this is what got me intrigued. Now, as far as all the rewrites go and like the time that's happening here, what could be going on here, we do have Born Again happening, right?
Yeah.
And she is so intrinsically tied to that Daredevil storyline because of her relationship with Kingpin. So I'm wondering if that's factoring in here too. Also, if we are going to take a look at making things more connected, because I think that's an issue we've had in Phase 4, things have felt very disassociated with one another. I think then we look to, okay, well, does she end up having her romance with Mark Spector down the line? Does she have a big role with Matt Murdock? Do we see her help him take down the Hand? There's a lot of other things that you can play with here from the comics that'll work really, really well. When you get new data and it shows, hey, maybe the things you aren't doing aren't working great, you readjust. That's what a smart person does. And I think they're just readjusting and recalibrating a little bit.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this news? Apparently, there's been a big delay for Echo. Could it mean bigger problems? Maybe the show gets Batgirled? It probably doesn't at all. And what do you think about it? I mean, there are different opinions on this. For some of us, we saw Hawkeye. It's like I don't think they did that character a lot of justice. Some people, like Chris, thought they did a great job with that character. How are you feeling about it? Are you looking forward to this series? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. We want to thank a sponsor of this video, MasterClass. MasterClass offers classes on a wide variety of topics, all taught by world-class instructors at the very top of their fields. Each class is broken out into individual video lessons, usually around 10 minutes long. And MasterClass is completely accessible on your phone, the web, smart TV, and available via audio mode to listen to classes on the go. They have over 2,500 video lessons from over 180 of today's most brilliant minds. They're all available anytime, anywhere on iOS, Android, desktop, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku. Now, obviously around here on the John Campea Show, we love our movies, so why not learn filmmaking from Jodie Foster, or maybe directing from Ron Howard himself, or the great Neil Gaiman doing his masterclass on the art of storytelling. And you guys have heard me talk about my favorite masterclass, Business Strategy and Leadership by Big Papa Iger himself, Bob Iger, the new and returning CEO of Disney. Guys, I highly recommend that you check it out. This holiday, give the perfect gift of an annual Masterclass membership and get one free. Go to masterclass.com/Campea today. That's masterclass.com/Campea. Terms apply.